Welcome back to Pact Weekly, where we talk about what we're doing in Pact, why we're doing it, and how to be involved in spiritual multiplication to help fulfill the Great Commission. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's way out of my league, because if you're listening to this podcast, you probably do this way more often than I do, and you probably do it better than I do. But I figure if this tip works for me, it could maybe work for anybody. So I stole this idea from a preacher that I heard on a podcast, and most of my ideas come from other people, and I don't have original ideas myself, but that's okay. The other night, we were having some guests over, and I asked this one non-believer guy, what do you want to do with your future? And he said, I don't really want to make a lot of money. I just want to be happy. So I said, well, how do you think somebody finds happiness? Which is my transition into the gospel. And so he didn't know. And so here's the phrase that I used from the preacher friend. I said, well, I think happiness is found by being at peace with yourself, being at peace with others, and being at peace with God. What do you think about that? And he thought, oh, that's really fascinating. And I said, it's also kind of like farming. You know, we can't find happiness by pursuing happiness, just like a farmer can't get corn by creating corn. A farmer has to plant a seed, and then he has to work the soil, and he has to water it, and he has to wait a long time. In the same way, happiness is a process, and we don't get happiness by pursuing happiness. We get happiness by being in good relationship with ourselves, being in good relationships with others, and being in good relationship with God. And no matter where the person wants to take that conversation, whether they want to talk about themselves or others or God, it's a great opportunity to transition into the gospel. How do you come to peace with yourself when maybe you've done things you regret, or you've made mistakes in your life, or your life's not going exactly the direction you want? It's a great transition into the gospel. How do you be at peace with others? Isn't that through forgiveness and learning to be patient and growing in kindness? Another great transition into the gospel. And how do you find peace with God when God is holy and perfect and we're not? Another great transition into the gospel. And so my key to transitioning into the gospel whenever anything about happiness comes up in a conversation is that happiness is found by being at peace with yourself, being at peace with others, and being at peace with God, and asking them what they think about that. So here's a little tip from somebody that's way less qualified than you are, and so I hope it helps.